Yo, what is going on, guys? Episode 91 of many. If you are watching today's episode, you might notice I'm a little bit further away from the wall, the plain old gray wall that I sit in front of. So for the exciting news here is that we're finally working on this project here, the project I've been telling you guys about months and months ago. I mentioned how the space we're in right now is going to be a podcast studio. We have since changed that, and now we're making this area our kind of like our headquarters, our office area. So the electricians were in here yesterday. I'm recording this on Wednesday. You guys are hearing this on Thursday, right? So the electricians were here on Tuesday. They got a bunch of outlets and stuff wired up for all of our office stuff, all of our desks, all of our computers, where all that stuff's going to be. And next step, we've got to sand the floor. So I'll walk you through this project and kind of how we look at it and why we do things the way we do. So if any of you actually know me and have seen my gyms or the businesses, we like to be always doing stuff, and we never like to necessarily completely finish the project. And even if we do completely finish the project, there's still things that we want to do and make it better and constantly show that we're reinvesting into it. So same thing here. This is going to be our headquarters, our main office, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be an unfinished space when we move into it for our team. And the reason I say that is we want to make this office the way we want it to be. We want it to be really nice and feel like a good place for our team. So we're going to do some projects here like one at a time. The electrical work, if you've ever paid electricians to do stuff, it's never cheap. And it's a commercial project, so it's tough to do stuff on your own and in quotations get away with it, right? So you just have to be careful. So not the point of my conversation. But anyways, so the electricians came in. That was a good chunk of money right away. We're also going to paint the entirety of the room the same color, I believe, that you're seeing on this wall. Maybe a little bit darker. I can't remember. And then it's going to stay like that. We're going to sand the floor. It's just going to be like this basic concrete for now. And then in the next, 90 to 180 days, we might come in and do a really nice vinyl floor. We're going to convert the lights in here and have some nice pendant style lights or lights that hang down from the ceiling. I don't know the right name. So we're going to do these projects kind of one at a time and just get it going. So the reason we want to get this office space done ASAP, though, is so that we can kind of go work on the podcast studio area. But also, once we move out of our office space up in the Watoma building, we've got some exciting things we're going to be doing with that space as well for the gym. So anyways, that's all I'll say there. I don't want to say too much. Usually I say too much and then we change our mind or things happen. So anyways, we're going to work on getting this project done. We're going to get our offices moved down here. We're going to get the other space done, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, super excited. Finally moving forward, getting some of this stuff done. So if this is your first time tuning in, make sure you go back and listen to episodes 1 through 4. That is going to give you a little recap on who I am, the companies, how we've gotten to where we're at today. I do ask if you guys are listening and you're consistently listening, help share the show, send it to friends, send it to family. Send it to coworkers, whomever that you think maybe gets something away from some of these episodes. Some of these episodes are more geared towards what's going on in our gym business, but a lot of these episodes are leadership, goals, right? Like how to live your life or, however you want to say it. So I feel like some of those more broad episodes, they can really be useful for a lot of different people. So don't just think this is a Grizzly fitness podcast. I do want to touch as many lives as we can. So again, it starts with you guys. I need your help spreading the word and getting that out there. So let's move on. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Episode 91. We've got 100 coming up here soon. If anybody listening has a great idea for episode 100, we're trying to figure out what that might be. More than likely, we're going to get to episode 100. I probably will not have a plan, and we'll just do episode 100 as normal. And, a little wasted opportunity there. But episode 100 is coming soon, which is super exciting. We've almost been doing the podcast for a full year now. We've been doing every Tuesday and Thursday. We have not missed a Tuesday or Thursday. There was one close call, but we ended up getting that episode out on Tuesday as well. So that is our goal this year. We're going to continue doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2 episodes a week. Spotify, Apple, YouTube. So for those of you listening, I'm sure you all listen on one of those 3 platforms. Obviously, you probably only listen to the one platform though. So if you didn't know, we're on Spotify, Apple, YouTube as well. So again, whoever you're sharing this with, whether it be your, grandma, grandpa, whoever, right? They can listen in different ways. So I had an interesting thought the other day. on, I just want to share this with you right away. So, what I wrote down was sometimes you find what you need in life by doing the opposite. And my thought here when I wrote this down was like, I do all of these routines and I have such good, I don't want to say such, I'm very, routine driven. I do a lot of the same things, right? I wake up at the same time, I work out at the same time. You know, sometimes it's almost beneficial to us. And I don't want to say like to fall off or to, sometimes it's best when we do fall off in a sense because we don't realize how good we had it and then we can work back to get to that point if that makes sense. But I've just noticed where there's been certain things where I'm doing things very, very routinely, consistently. I fall off, and then once I come back to find what I was doing and how much I loved it, it kind of reignites that passion. It reignites like me wanting to go out and do those things. And so I think sometimes you don't realize how good we have it. I know we've all heard that saying before, but it was just an interesting thought I had, right? So, for example, is like if you were really fit at one point and then you gained weight, sometimes it takes you to gain that weight to realize how awesome being fit was, right? Or what you want to get there. So, for me at my age now, I'm not in sports like I used to be, but now I'm starting to come back and do a little bit of boxing, like I told you about, and just getting that feeling again. I knew what it was like before. I haven't touched it for so long, and I've been out of the game of like that kind of level of fitness. And now that I'm kind of coming back to it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what have I been missing, right? So kind of like that feeling, right? I also wrote on here, so like this isn't just polar opposites with like you that way. It's also like understanding. I put understand true sadness to find true happiness, right? So like these complete polar opposites, like sometimes you don't know what it's like until you've been on the other side, right? You can't coach on it, you can't understand it, and you just sometimes you might not really know what it's like and how happy you were until something happens and you start going down this path of maybe sadness or whatever, right? So that's what I wrote. You must have done the complete opposite to really find the other side, right? So if you haven't, let's just say you haven't drank for a year, for 2 years, 3 years, whether that's alcohol, caffeine, whatever. You've been without this for so long, and you've been having such a good streak. Sometimes, I'm not saying you have to. I'm not saying you should go experiment, but I'm just saying sometimes that one night where you slipped up and you ended up having some beers or you ended up drinking the caffeine. Because me, I've recently tried reintroducing caffeine. You notice how good it was without it. You're like, oh my gosh, like I didn't realize how good I had it again. So I just thought this was an interesting thought. I was just, not that you guys can do anything with this, so to say, but it's just like something that was kind of coming across my mind. I think it's because I've been reintroducing some things that I've cut out of my life for a long time. Just an interesting thought. Because my last one there was, you may be perfect and then fall off, but that fall off really teaches you a lot, right? So you can come back even bigger, even stronger, even faster, right? Like whatever that is, even healthier. So that was one of my thoughts that I had been writing down. So let's move on to, I want to say a couple more things on goals here. I know I've been hammering you guys on goals. It's the new year. It's the new you. It's 2026. 2025's gone. Yesterday's gone, right? Today's the youngest you're ever going to be. All of these things. I want you to know a goal is just a tool. You want to use your goals as tools. You don't have to be worried about not achieving the goal. A lot of us are fearful of achieving. A lot of us are fearful of setting a goal because we're afraid we're not going to achieve it. When this goal is really a tool, and a lot of people don't shoot high enough when they set their goals. They set very moderate, very easy level, very attainable, which I understand. You want the feeling of I did it, I set out and I did it. I like to set large goals and, whatever, shoot for the stars and land on the moon or whatever the saying is. I like to think big. I like to push myself, and I like to get in that uncomfortable space so I can achieve more and, open that greatness or whatever that may be. So just know the goals are just tools. They're for you to utilize and to really think about your future. And what happens is when you start thinking about the goal for the future, that future, what happens is it starts it starts changing your present. You start evolving as an individual. You start becoming somebody who you weren't. You start throwing out the things that weren't helping you get towards these goals, right? And you start focusing on the things that are going to get you towards these goals, right? So the goal is a tool. It's a mental tool. It's it's just getting us to be somebody who we're not, or back on track. And interesting too. These are kind of intertwining here, but you think of like a strategy, right? You think of building a goal. You think of writing down a goal. You think of creating a goal, whatever. And then you start maybe thinking a little bit about like the strategy. Like, okay, well, here's my goal. Whether it's a business revenue goal, whether it's a reading goal, you have these goals, no matter what it is. And once you create the goal, you start thinking of the strategy, right? Like, I want to run 5 miles, right? That's the goal. I want to run 5 miles by this date. And then the goal is there. But then it takes you have to start building this strategy, right? On how I'm going to achieve that goal. And it's like mainly you're just thinking about it. Well, if I'm going to run 5 miles by next month, I should probably start running a couple miles, today or whatever. It's important to think the strategy is also what you don't do, right? And it's not like that deep, but it's just interesting. Your strategy is also what you do not do. So when you're building these goals, when you're creating these strategies, it's not just about what you're doing, but it's about what you're not doing, right? And that's important to think about because we do so many things that hinder us from being able to achieve our goals. We keep all of these things in our life that are holding us back, and we maybe try to do more on top of those, but we should really think about what are we doing right now that is not helping us get to where we're going. And that's part of the strategy. We take those things away. We make it, I was listening to a podcast and I just thought that was very interesting. You only think about what I need to do and you never think about what I don't need to do, right? Like what I no longer need to do, what I can erase from my day-to-day things, my daily life, So do with that as you please. Strategy is also what you do not do. And I wrote on here, we are afraid of failure, so we just don't set goals, which I think I already touched on, but the goal is a tool to shape your present self. Think about your future, what you want it to look like, and then that'll start affecting your today. That'll start affecting your present. And we only live in the present. We don't live in the future. And the past is already gone. And again, we're the youngest we're ever going to be today. So I need you to realize if you're not thinking anything about the future, if you're not thinking about who you want to be someday, the best parent, the best mom, the best dad, the best coworker, the best this, there's something that you're passionate about. And if you're not defining that, you're just kind of wandering through life. We're just walking here and we're not becoming what we can become. And it's sad to see that, but I mean, that's the true reality. Like that's just how the average individual is. And so I encourage you not only to set goals, but I also encourage you to talk to your friends and your family. And again, I know this thought of goal setting is like, some people just think it's so dumb and, why just live in the moment, right? I get it. I don't just walk around asking people, oh, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? But honestly, that's more like high-level conversations. The average person doesn't want to have that conversation. They don't want to be concerned about the future. They don't want to be concerned about goals. And I think deep down, we all do have goals. We all have dreams and aspirations. But we've just lived this life where we don't feel like we can accomplish them, or we don't feel like we're important enough in some standard or some setting to accomplish that. So I encourage you to be the friend that helps a friend, set some goals, become the best versions of themselves, right? Like this is the message we're trying to pass on. So if you know me, if you listen to the podcast, the goal this year is to be 1% better. Each and every day, we want to wake up, we want to be a little bit better than we were yesterday, and just continue doing that. You have to win the day. If you win today and you keep winning today, right, that stacks up. You win the week, you win the month, you win the year, you win the life, right? So think about that. Help your friends and family. Help those people around you. Be that person in that friend group like I talk about, right? We want the Grizzly Life podcast to be that friend in the friend group that helps elevate everybody, that helps bring everybody up to the next level. If you're hanging out with a bunch of people of like-minded or less than you, you're going to be trapped and you're never going to be able to get up to that next level, whatever that is to you. I'm not saying this isn't This isn't an income game, a revenue game. This isn't like I'm better than you. That's not at all what I'm saying. You can take it that way, sure. If you hang out with more people who make more money than you, they're going to help you naturally figure out how you can make more money, right? Like it's just that's part of how it works. So we want this podcast to be that friend in the friend group that helps elevate people and bring people out of that, that circle and up to the next level. And so I challenge you, if you're an avid listener of this podcast, if you're a consistent listener, that you're also being that friend in that friend group, figuring out how to better other people. And this could be fitness wise, right? Like again, this isn't just revenue. You could be the person in the group that's getting 3 or 4 other people into the gym and getting them healthier and caring about their lives longer and lasting, living longer, healthier, stronger lives. So I don't think a lot of people realize life can come and go, obviously extremely quick, and that's not what I'm saying, but a lot of people understand that, but we don't think about it and how fast, just the snap of the fingers, right, that your life can just change like that. Somebody significant in your life, somebody that you know through a friend, right, whatever the case may be. And it's all fun and games until that happens, right? Until life is changed in that aspect. So use the power of the new year. Encourage those people around you to get in the gym, to get their steps in, to eat a little bit healthier, and help open more eyes to the fact that every day counts, and the healthier those days can be, and the happy, like we want to be able to function, we want to be able to be ourselves, we want to be able to take care of ourselves, and we also want to be here as long as we can for our friends and family. I think it's very selfish for individuals to only put their needs first, in a sense of I don't care, like especially when you become a parent. When you become a parent, when you have other people depending on you in some sort of fashion, at the end of the day, we only have ourselves. I get it. We've only got us. We came into this world and we're going to leave this world the same way, right? I get that. But once you become somebody that other people depend on, manager at work, boss, owner, like parent, your friends, right? Like you are important in other people's lives as well. And I find it very selfish for you not to take care of yourself to make sure that you can help take care of those people as well. So you need to, we as Americans, we have all these options to like comfort food and these sodas and these drinks and whatever. And that's you, again, being selfish. And I know we live for ourselves and whatever else, but like you do have people who count on you. And if you continue to live that way, you're not going to know the difference when the lights turn off, but you're affecting like so many other people's lives around you. And I just want you to think about that, right? When you're going through and making your decisions day to day, would this make everybody else happy around you? And again, I'm saying this like, I hope you're understanding how I'm saying this. I'm not saying live your life for everybody else, but take care of yourself so you can take care of those that depend on you and truly care about you as well. So anyways, we can move on. So I've got a couple little things, and then I'm going to wrap today's episode up. Got the office update here. I'm super excited about that. Here, I'll finish up with the book that I'm reading, but I don't know if you guys ever have this. And I don't know if this is happening more to me now because of all the reading that I'm doing, and maybe you guys don't have this, but me personally, I will look back last year to an event that happened or a situation or a conversation. I've got a pretty strong memory. So I will relate back to a certain conversation I had. Maybe some text messages will pop up from several years. When I first started my business, kind of an interesting story. When I first started, when I was like 18, 19, 20, I was this young kid, and I would always use the card when I was trying to buy gym equipment from other people. I would always say, "Oh, I'm 19. I'm trying to start up this gym. I just don't have a lot of money. Like, can you give me a better price?" Right? Like, I would always use that as like the puppy dog card. And now I'm still only 27. I just feel like I've got too much experience to use that I'm a young kid card, and we've got 7 gym locations, right? So like I would just be lying at that point. I wouldn't feel good about that. So, anyways. When I was 18, 19, 20, all the things I'm telling you now, logic over emotion, being a good communicator, learning how to like deal with people, right? Like these are some of the most important things I think in life to get ahead and to get further in life. I would have conversations with people through, we'd message on Craigslist and then it would go to email or texting or whatever. And at a young age, I met a lot of assholes. I met a lot of dickheads in the fitness equipment industry that were just not good people. But I was also young and I didn't know how to communicate properly. But that wasn't the problem. I probably could have maybe avoided some of the situations and been the bigger person. But I'm dealing with like adults that are just straight up dickheads. Like, and I don't usually say that many words in a row of like this, but so anyways, when I was 18, 19, 20, I would have these conversations with these people about buying equipment or whatever, and I would actually screenshot some of these text messages back in the day. And so if I still go back to my photos, I can see some really crazy conversations that were had back, in 2017, 2018. And just, it's interesting to see how far I've come essentially. So what I'm getting at is, I don't know if you ever have this feeling, but I can do this for like a situation that happened last week or a situation that happened like 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 1 year ago, whatever. And I'll be like, wow, like how dumb was I, or how immature was I, or like why did I, and I'm not even necessarily reflecting on that situation as far as like what could I do better, but I'm looking at that situation and I'm just like, I don't like to use the word cringe, but I just feel weird about the conversation that I had a year ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago. And I'm like, why was I that? Like, why did I say it like that? Why did I sound like that? Why did I have a conversation like that? And I don't know if, and it makes me feel weird because I'm like, oh my gosh, when I was 21, right? I just didn't know. I'll see like random flashbacks of photos, right? Of me when I was younger. And I'm like, oh, look at me and the kid in me, right? And again, if it's 5-10 years ago, it makes sense. That's a long time ago. If it's 6 months, a year ago, I feel like I've had this ever like it. I don't know if it's from how much I'm reading. I don't know if it's like me evolving as a leader, as a person, as an individual. I don't know if it's me being more understanding of the world. I still consider myself very young, and I don't like to call myself wise by any means because I feel like wisdom is something that you gather over a lifetime. Now, do I have more wisdom than somebody maybe that's in high school? Yes, but I just don't feel like I have enough wisdom at this point to you know what I mean? If that makes sense. So I just constantly look back. I bet if I go back and listen to episode, 5 of the podcast, that I would feel the same way. That I'm just maybe evolving is the right word or whatever, but I just feel like I guess what I'm saying out loud, I just don't know if you guys ever get this feeling, right? Of like looking back and being like, wow, like I was so young and dumb and immature, and why didn't I say this right or that right? Or why did I have that kind of conversation with my mom or dad? Or, why did I even say that joke? That joke wasn't even funny, right? And like these are things that I just look back over time. So anyways, not really a point to that one. I was just something I've been thinking about lately. I don't know if you guys recognize that. I am trying to tell you to do things with intention, learn from your past, learn from who you are, learn from the conversations that you're having. So I think that's kind of where this ties in, right? Is I'm constantly looking back and these things pop up and I'm like, oh my gosh, like we get caught in this like, I'll call it a mind fuck, right? Like we get caught in this, we don't feel like we're improving at all. We don't feel like anything's happening. We don't feel like, and then what happens is like at the end of the year, for example, 2026 just started, we look back over 2025 and we're like, holy cow, like look at all the accomplishments that we did do. But you get caught in the day-to-day, and you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. You just feel like it's a slow progress. You don't, and we want like, straight up and down, we want like a great degree of change. Like we want to be like, oh my gosh, like we've accomplished so many things. At least that's how I feel, right? We want to do it all, and we want it all done yesterday. So we get in this constant like day by day mentality where we just don't know what's going on, or we don't feel like things are happening. But then you look back over a period of time and you're like, holy, like look at what I've accomplished. So I think it's important to look back, look at who you were last year, look at who you were 5 years ago, look at what you've accomplished. And if you look back and you're not happy, then this is the time now to figure out what do I need to do in the future to put myself where I want to be. The problem is if you look back 3 to 5 years and you're like, I've been doing the same thing, my kids did this and this, but I really haven't done anything different, or I haven't improved my life, or I'm living the same life or worse because I'm not putting my health first. Then That's probably because you're not thinking about your future. You're not thinking about your goals. Life's happening to you. You're not happening to life. So you need to be putting yourself first. You need to realize, what can I do to be a better version of myself this year? And again, it's just one day at a time. One day at a time. You just slowly have to chip away. We can't expect, again, to start working out today and have abs tomorrow. We can't be that superhero figure that we want to look like, or we can't be that model that we want to look like, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It is day by day. And we live with ourselves each and every day. So anybody that's been in a fitness routine and you wake up and you're like, oh, I still don't see progress. I don't see progress. I don't see progress. I challenge you to take progress photos, because if you don't, you're not going to notice the difference, because you're still, no matter how good looking you get, whatever that is in your eyes, there's never complete satisfaction. There's always more work to be done. And that's just what happens. Now, we do get complacent when we get partners, right? We get married, we get a boyfriend, girlfriend, we get whatever. We get complacent. The average person does. I don't get complacent. I want to continue working on myself, but the average person gets complacent. They just are comfortable. And that's a dangerous spot to be. If you've heard anybody, the best things happen when you're in the uncomfortable side of things. There's a line. There's comfortable. There's a line. There's uncomfortable, right? Once you can cross over into that line and make yourself uncomfortable, that's where the most growth comes from. And I do think that's one of the things that have helped me grow the most, is doing the uncomfortable things, talking in front of the camera, doing this podcast, right? Like just working on talking and, again, doing the uncomfortable things. This year, that's one of the main things I want to focus on. Going to the public speaking school, right? Like doing these things that are going to make me uncomfortable. So just take home, think about some of that stuff. Again, if you're that person that you feel like the last 1, 2, 3 years of your life have been the same, you need to be more forward thinking. You need to put yourself first. You need to realize, what is it that I want in life? And that's what I'm going to go and do. And then we start working on the strategy, and you start realizing, what am I doing in my life right now that is hindering that goal? And what do I need to do that I'm not doing that I need to implement in my life to reach that goal? And again, when you do your goal setting, goals are tools. These don't need to be definitives as far as I want to make X dollars a year. This needs to be, I always say, focus on yourself first. Once you get yourself straightened out, you can accomplish anything else. So I'm not saying spend 6 hours a day in the gym, because once you go over the board, there's not a whole lot of other. I know some specific individuals who take health and fitness to the extreme, which, hey, I love it. But once you get yourself in check, your own routine, once you start doing your 10 pages a day, once you start getting your 10,000 steps a day, once you get your half gallon to a gallon of water a day, once you start building these routines, these habits, these baseline things that we should all be doing, and you can show yourself you're capable of it, the sky's the limit on what else you want to do in your personal and professional life. So I hope you guys got something out of this one. I will work on getting some guests here on the podcast ASAP. We are going to be going through some random stuff here with like this space getting done. So I probably won't have anybody physically in person, but I might be doing some remote podcasts here very soon. So I appreciate you guys, and I will see you on the next one. If you want to add me on social media, Snapchat is Colton.Burt, Colton.Burt. Instagram is ColtonBurt19. Add me on Facebook. Shoot me a message there. If you want to email us anything, Garrett, Garrett, at fitnessgrizzly.com. That is G, the producer. So if you have any questions, if you want to hop on the podcast, if you want to any questions answered on the podcast, maybe we can do some more Q&A stuff this year. So anything that you've got going, any ideas you've got, we do have our weekly emails going out now every Tuesday and Thursday as well. Those are just little informational things that I'm learning, books that I'm reading. Speaking of that, I will wrap up with this. Interesting enough, for those of you who listen to me, last year I read a shit ton of books. I finished 59 total books on top of reading another, 10 or 12, like half read, quarter read, third, whatever, right? Like I started and just didn't finish them. I am working on calming down at night. Not that I'm anxious, but trying to turn my brain off. As of the last 2 or 3 weeks of the year of 2025, I've been very I have all these ideas late at night. I start writing them down on my phone. My brain is just in business mode. Oh, this idea, that idea. Don't forget this tomorrow. Don't forget that, And I'm worried that once I have a thought, if I don't write it down, if I don't think about it, that I'm going to forget about it. And so I get in this constant thing where it'll essentially affect my sleep a little bit as well, because my body never completely shuts down. And a lot of the times I'll start dreaming about this stuff, right? Like I'll have dreams about business, dreams about the situations, right? So one of the things I'm trying to do is let my brain calm down a little bit before I go to bed and try to turn the phone off, at 6, 7 p.m. So that way it's out of my hands for a while. Some nights I just can't do that. Some nights I have to be communicating with my team and whatever else needs to happen. But I am reading Forrest Gump, which is very interesting. If you guys have, I'm sure most of you have seen the movie. I hope so. If you haven't, it's a good watch. It's funny. But there's a book on Forrest Gump as well. If you've watched the movie, it makes the most sense because then you go to read this book, and as soon as you start reading it, you just hear Forrest Gump, talking in your ear. Like you can just hear who Forrest is and how he talks and how he interacts. And it's a good read. So it's not, it's obviously a fiction book. I'm not a big fiction guy. I usually read nonfiction stuff, but um, I'm cranking that one out right now. It's a good book. It's interesting to read. The first chapter took me a little bit longer, just because again, all the words are written exactly how Forrest would say it in the movie. So it takes a little bit of time to like understand how Forrest writes and talks, essentially. And then it's a good book. So I recommend reading it. I was recommended to read it. It's a solid read. Again, that fiction style book. I don't know that that's going to be my play every night, but something to kind of allow the brain to shut down. So anyways, I appreciate you guys. Episode 91 is in the books. We will see you soon. Have a great year. This is your year to be the best you. So 2026 is here. 2025 is gone. I appreciate you guys. Tell everybody about the show. Share the episode. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon.